I just want to switch this conversation to the narrative kind of conversation, because Ruto has his hustlers, he has his bottom up. Raila came up with Azimio la Umoja. Together with Uhuru Kenyatta, they've been saying the biggest problem we are facing as a country, or currently are facing, is political stability. Is Azimio la Umoja going to counter Hustler Nation, or are we going to see Kenyans looking more towards rebuilding our economy?
You see, Azimio la Umoja, nothing, first of all, nothing can be achieved in an environment which is unstable.
Oh.
Nothing. Even that hustler arrangement, if the country, if the environment is unstable for whatever reason, nothing can be achieved. So the first call, the first thing that any person in leadership should drive to do is to ensure that the country is united, is cohesive. That's the first thing, stability.
Okay.
Because minus stability, investors will run away. Minus stability, even you run away to Uganda. Right?
Yeah.
Minus stability, I think, I don't know if Prof came from...
Yeah, I'll just go to Amishi, where we come from. Take land.
So,
and mango,
you see,
my mother left me.
Yeah, I think we take stability for granted. Because probably, as a country, we've never been unstable to a point where we cannot operate. So the model that Raila has taken and Uhuru has taken said, okay, you know, we have come this far, but now to really progress to the second level, now to move towards a middle economy, we need to be more stable as a country. We need to be more cohesive. Because once that is achieved, many other things will follow. You see, if you look at what President Uhuru has been able to achieve, it is 3 times or 2 times what he achieved in his first term. Why has he been able to achieve that one? He had the same civil service, he had the same resources. What made him achieve double what he achieved? It is that stability. Because in the first term, Raila was a pain in the, I don't want to mention the name.
Don't say that.
I don't want to say that name. But Raila was a pain.
Yeah.
So nothing much could have been achieved. So I would encourage even, because from the polls that you are seeing, it looks like Raila is headed towards assuming leadership. I would encourage those who lose to put this country first.
Okay.
So that they give the person who would have won, and I assume Raila, from the figures that we are seeing, to give him space to provide leadership for 5 years. Yeah, because your term or time will always come.
But is Raila doing enough to counter Ruto's hustler versus dynasty when it comes to this narrative on the ground?
You see, I don't know, but I can tell you, everyone is a dynasty. Everyone is a dynasty, and everyone is a hustler.
Why so?
Is Ruto not a dynasty? Is Ruto a hustler?
He says he comes from the bottom.
No, is he a hustler?
Currently?
Is he a hustler?
Currently, no.
You know, there is John here. John looks at you as a dynasty. Your immediate neighbor says, "How these guys are doing very well. How the matajiri? How you dynasty? How the matajiri?" Because you have a bicycle, he has a mkokoteni,
or nothing,
So you're a dynasty.
Okay.
You know, that definition of dynasty hustler is dangerous, because tomorrow, and I know Prof is paying you very well, you move from a Vitz, you buy now a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Now, people will refuse to accept that it is your effort and hard work that has moved you from a Vitz to what?
Mercedes.
From Mercedes. We need to encourage people. We need to get people into this mentality of hard work. That is only through hard work that you can improve your life, that you can move from one stage to the other stage. But what I see on the other side, because most of, we are Kenyans, most of them have not created wealth. You don't create wealth by stealing. You know, because that's what they have done. Most of them have stolen. Stolen public funds. They're thieves.
Yeah.
And if Raila takes over, I just want one job. I want to be the chairman of anti-corruption.
Yeah.
Chairman of anti-corruption.
Yes,
because I'll jail them.
So many people say that, and they go to EFCC, they don't.
I'm telling you, me, I'll take them to jail. You know, in the first 100 days,
some people will be in jail.
Most of them will be in jail. No, they will be in jail. So that's a job that I'm hoping Raila can be the chairman of EFCC.
Okay.
You are lucky you get one. Me, I don't think I'll get one.
I know I can do a good job for him. So I think to get back to your
narrative
your question, hustlers started off very well. Kenyans are not very stupid, and they have started interrogating what this hustler thing is all about. And you see what it has done. You find somebody who has knocked somebody in the kavits, yeah, the piki fellow. He knocks, and the other piki fellows come.
Yeah,
they either destroy that vits
or beat up the guy.
They beat up the person in the car. Sometimes even just a lady, she's beaten, and maybe most likely the person driving that vits has bought that vits using a loan.
Small loan.
Small loan. So this narrative that we are hustlers, and they're not hustlers, is dangerous. What we need to encourage people is to work hard.
Prof, let me bring Prof into this conversation. We're talking about narratives. Currently, we are seeing the hustler narrative and the dynasty talk going rounds. Should Raila focus on coming up with a narrative like Ruto's to counter hustler narrative, or should he continue with what you guys are calling his truthful way of doing politics?
Let me explain first of all one thing. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was a teacher. A teacher. So there's no way you could call him a dynasty.
Okay.
Then the Moi was an orphan. He was brought up by other people. He didn't have parents. Jomo Kenyatta was a meter reader, some cowboy hapa Dagoretti hapa. Some cowboy playboy of sorts. Yeah, even was pimping Majonis and giving them changa and the rest. So there's no way he could be a dynasty. So now if we go by that definition, by that understanding of a hustler, then the Railas, the Uhurus, and the Gideon Mois and the Mdawadis are dynasties themselves, not their parents. So that means, by extension, Ruto then would have to hate his children, June, Nick, and the rest. Because by the same token, they are dynasty. Ruto's children will be dynasty. Because he himself is a hustler, because his father is nothing. Okay? So his children, the children of a person who was a nobody, will be dynasties. Because Kenyatta was a nobody. So Uhuru is a dynasty, a son to a somebody who was a meter reader. Jaramogi was a teacher. Moi was an orphan, a total orphan, being brought up in homes other than his home. So it is the children then who get the tag of dynasty. So then Ruto is saying, I don't like my children. Because June is a dynasty now. Nick Ruto is a dynasty. That's the kind of cheapness I'm talking about. But now to politics.
Yeah.
Raila is a master at this thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Many people, including I, would have hoped that if he was going to counter Ruto, he will also have to come up with his own narratives.
Okay.
Unfortunately, sometimes that cheapens you. And if that's not the kind of jacket Raila cannot put on, then he will not put on that. Let me give you a very good example to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Is it from the corporate world? Sometimes back, East African breweries, sometimes it's called Kenya breweries, I don't know what it is. I think in the 90s, I was running a business in that industry. They were threatened by some competitor selling hot drinks. They were on a sachet, in a sachet. I don't want to kill because of business. I can't give the name. Heavy like this, people will get high quickly. It was knocking them down. So now, East African breweries had two options. One, to follow the competitor down there and produce the same rubbish the competitor was, because he was eating into his market. He could follow the competitor in the mud na yeye pia atoe uchafu kama hiyo compete. But because of his competitive advantage is big, he could have removed the guy from market by producing the same rubbish that guy is producing. But now since he's bigger, the guy will be knocked out. He had that option. A man called East African Breweries. What was the other option? And this is the option they took. To look for a product that can be competitive in terms of what segment of the market that this guy had captured. So they went for that market, but retained their name by producing brands. That's how you got into Senator. That's how you got Kenya Ken.
Okay.
You know, that segment of the market now had something from East African Breweries, but maintaining the standards. So Raila could choose to go down where Ruto is, being cheap and sloganeering and almost being a demagogue and a counter. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he could choose to maintain his standards and play his game at his own level. I suspect that's what he's doing by organizing the politics, engineering the politics of the country the way he has engineered.
Yeah.
So that instead of going to the pigsty to fight with the pig down there, you remain up and no harm intended. I'm not calling anybody a pig. I'm just just metaphorical way of speaking. He can play his game the way he's engineering. You've seen from the word go, he talked of Azimio la Umoja to put the country together. What he did in a sense was to get the people, the kingpins, regional kingpins, and put them together and play your game in the way it has been played, which will come down. However, like you say, it is important to know that this is politics and you need the votes. So you need to strike a balance.
Is he doing a good job? Because I just want us to finish the conversation with what the regional politics. Currently, Raila I think he was in Western Kenya and he promised to give them 3 cabinet positions. I'm just looking at what he promised: 3 cabinet secretaries, 7 principal secretaries, 5 chief administrative secretaries, 12 ambassadors. Ruto promised Western Kenya 30% of government. Is Raila doing a good job to try to woo these regions towards his side? You remember he gave Hassan Joho from Costa position, he gave Munya a position, he's giving almost all of them positions in his cabinet secretary in these regions that I am with you. Is he doing a good job compared to Ruto?
You see, number one, politics in Kenya is tribal. Okay? And each community would want to see and appreciate what stake they have in government. So Raila, I think so far, has done fairly well by appointing in advance a few people into positions of leadership.
Yeah.
Okay? So he's done that in advance. Coast, given Western, and he has given Meru.
Yeah.
Okay?
Even Kalonzo chief.
And even now Kalonzo has been given chief of
cabinet. That is the
chief minister.
Chief minister or something. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, for me, because Prof and myself come from Western, I can tell you, I think I issued a statement and I'm told it didn't go down very well. I had said that as a community, as a Luo community, we deserve a certain percentage of government. And I didn't say that because I'm a Luo. I say that given our numbers, if you look at our population, we deserve. And we are Kenyans in any case. So by Raila promising 7 PSS, I think should have even done more.
Wow.
And I'm saying this because I think that Uhuru could have done a little bit better. But you know, I mean, he's my friend. I think Western was actually marginalized in his government. But we are told the person who marginalized Western is Ruto, because any appointment that should have gone to Western, you know, was fought.
Okay.
So now I hear that he's going to give 30%, but remember, he's giving 30% based on a target. He has told his partners, get me 70% of the vote and I'll give you 30%. So what about if they don't deliver 70%. What happens?
You get
What
nothing,
happens?
you think?
They get nothing. Yeah.
Huh?
Because you've signed. You said, okay, I mean, I'll
give
deliver 70%.
But Musalia says he has
I'll give
90%. He feels like they have 90.
70%.
No, they are getting 95 now. I hear.
Okay,
Yeah.
70%.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
I take 30% of government. It is not realistic. Let's be honest. Even Raila, and Raila is very popular in Western province, Western Kenya. He's very popular. But at the very best, with all the popularity he has in Western Kenya, because I think Bungoma, from the figures I saw, we're not doing very well. Trans Nzoia, you know, so 70% of Western Kenya.
Yeah.
So how can you, and you're not as strong as him,
Get 70.
promise 70%? I mean, it's a joke. But to get back to your point, I come from Western Kenya. In Uhuru's government, we did not benefit as we should have benefited. We are looking forward to benefiting even more from the Raila administration. In any event, Western Province has been die-hard support, has given support to Raila for the last, I think, 25 years. So I think it is time for him to reward the people who have died with him.
Prof, let me ask you this. Do you
Yes.
think Ruto is doing a better job, not placing all the cards on the table, saying I'm giving this person this position, or just leaving all of them, not to know who's going to become a CS, who's going
It's
to
a
get
question
to
of
this?
style.
Is that a good job? In
It's a
Ruto's
question
side?
of style. It's a question of
Style.
Remember, I started by telling you Raila played the game of Azimio la Umoja, of getting the country together, of getting people to be with him in government, not behind him. And Uhuru has said as much. So when you get Munya, you get Mother Karua, then you bring Paranya, you bring Eugene, you bring
Kalonzo.
Joho. It is in that script. But let me talk about percentage of government. I want to say two things. Number one, let us not overpressurize presidential candidates. Let them be free to form their government. Secondly, let's not make demands in terms of percentages. Because even 30%, whoever is promising anybody that is not saying the truth. The Luyas are about 14% of the population. So the moment you get 30%, you have eaten into other people's percentage. I mean, if Luyas get 30%, you know, I will also need a job.
Okay.
Honestly, Raila, if he's watching, or Ruto, please consider me.
In that
yeah, in the few years I have as an old man, let me serve my country in some capacity.
Okay.
But I will not push it because I know you only have 22 ministers. And you have all these communities, all these regions. There can be no region that should get 30%. But if 3 regions, you only need 3 regions to get 30 and you are at 90. Yeah, only 3. Now, the president will get more. So if the president gets 40, then 2 other regions get 30. 3 of them have 100%. So 3 out of these others. You can see that the game is not a game. It's a joke.
Okay.
Let us not over-pressurize presidential candidates. Let them just know even the constitution demands of them, fairness and equity, regional balance, the face of Kenya. That's part of the constitution. Let them bear that in mind. They also have friends who have helped them in one way or the other. Let them put all these things into consideration as they constitute cabinet. Let them not lie to people. You can give one community 30%.
It won't happen.
Because 2 communities 60. My friend, what are you talking about? Na wewe mwenyewe kama president upate 40. Hiyo ni 100. 3 of you have 100%. Where are the others?
Are we going to
Or
see,
this 100 is elastic.
are we going to see a crisis then after
I promise
the
people in percentage, I'll go the Raila way. If I'm Raila now, by the time I get to elections, I will have allocated 10 ministries. So far he has allocated about 5, 6.
6?
Let's count. Munya,
Paranya,
Paranya,
Joho,
Eugene, who else?
there's someone else.
Whatever.
Yeah.
4. There are 4.
Yeah.
Maybe if you add Mother Karua, just about 5.
Yeah.
He should add another 5, dotted all over the country. Then he will mean the remaining 10 or so will be people he will pick outside normal circles. These are political considerations. Because I have said this and I want to repeat perhaps the last time. This country is in a bad place. If you approach appointments business as usual, the usual circle being short-sighted, not seeing beyond that circle, you will collapse. You know, nobody will run 2 years, whether Ruto or Raila, 2 years. You need the best you can pick in the country, best men, best women. For the remaining 10, you have used 10 to play politics, national unity and politics, and get the votes. The remaining 10 or 12, go out of the usual circles and pick out. Even surprise people. Let them not even know you are looking for them. Tell them, come here. I want you to do for me this job.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So let's leave them free.